Trends in the field. This presentation has been divided into two sections, library trends and general education trends, but a quick online search will show that most can be used in both a library and a classroom. Additionally, they can be used in a co-teaching style between both general education teachers and the library media specialist. I'm a huge fan of multi-purpose teaching strategies, so I focused on those. So under library trends, we will be looking at learning commons, gamification, and flipped learning. Well, when I first saw the term learning commons, I had no idea what they were talking about. However, a quick pop over to Edutopia and Beth Holland's article, 21st Century Libraries, The Learning Commons, really set me straight. Well, apparently with content becoming more accessible online and digital technologies offering additional options for learning, libraries are basically having to reinvent themselves since they are becoming less keeper of the books and more the vital connection between learners and learners constructing knowledge. Because of this, learners needed a place that not only encouraged active participation in learning, but also supported learnings in building their understanding from a wide variety of sources. Learning commons, in other words, are just multifunctional spaces that have evolved from a simple library with a computer lab into a space focused more on learning, research, and projects. There may still be computers available, but the library itself is going to have comfortable and easily moved furniture to accommodate student learning groups, tables for projects, a designated quiet area for those still wishing to use the space to study, and technological tools such as USB hubs in the furniture that will allow for student work outside of a classroom setting. Printed books are still going to play a huge part of the library setting, but the space is more designed for collaboration. Also, the term learning commons may not even apply to a physical space. Well, that sounded all nice and spiffy, but I wanted to know how it would look in action, and I was also curious about how it wouldn't be just a physical space. So I turned to the article, 3 Heads Are Better Than One, Librarians, Reading Specialists, and the Classroom Teachers in the Learning Commons. To sum it all up, because librarians are called more than ever to act as instructional partners, the library can serve as a dynamic or changeable space for co-teaching teams such as the librarian, the classroom teacher, and the reading specialist, as well as the students. Library commons are centralized around actively engaging students and educators alike through collaboration. The librarian, in fact, can even act as a connector of sorts between the physical and virtual venue. He or she can set up a virtual learning commons like a Google Doc, so collaboration can happen even when educators are on opposite sides of the building. This encourages deeper learning in both educational staff and the students they serve. In the physical sense, on the other hand, librarians can make use of the learning commons by leading hands-on projects and instructional tools that bridge the curriculum with the students' needs, which, research shows, puts the focus on the learner rather than the educator. This brings us to gamification. To put it simply, gamification, according to the article Gamification in Libraries, it's defined as the process of applying game mechanics and game thinking to the real world to solve problems and engage users. Since learning commons are trying to ensure students' needs are met by the best utilization of space and resources, and gamification tries to drive physical and virtual traffic into buildings, web pages, and library electronic resources to meet student needs, the two, in my opinion, go hand in hand and aim for the same goal. Well, according to the article, Gamifications in Libraries, the State of Art, a huge amount of research shows that people learn better when they are actively engaged, and to be honest, it doesn't seem much to capture our fancy. Historically speaking, successful games have been designed around everything from waiting tables to tending crops. Believe it or not, there are even several library-based games, such as the University of Alabama's Project Velius, which sought to capture student attention in library orientation by involving them in an online mystery game. The point is, everything from library orientation to information literacy instruction, in which games can be used to create experiences in which users can have active encounters with complex concepts that may result in a deeper understanding than the traditional lecture, they can be used by the library media specialist in order to put the focus more on the learner. Flipped learning, additionally, is another trend that has the focus square on the learner rather than the educator. Students study a topic at their own pace and then apply the knowledge with peers and teachers the next day, usually, in the classroom. Well, flipped learning makes use of technological tools such as online videos and course management systems. According to the ALA, students and other learners seeking environments where they can, view recorded lectures without distraction may seek out spaces in the library for focus and serious study. These spaces, you guessed it, those learning commons we just talked about. The ALA also states many of the learning elements involved in the flipped learning environment may fall to the library informational professionals. So it's very important to be familiar with this trend. Well, according to the article, Successful Flipped Instruction, school libraries are actually in a perfect position to make flipped instruction come to life for students, since flipped classrooms are more than just a video sent home. There's role-playing, Web 2.0 activities, video conferencing, marker spaces, etc. The point is to get students actively engaged in their learning process in order to motivate them. Just like with gamification, just like with the Learning Commons. Getting students engaged will lead to deeper learning and more positive educational experiences. Needless to say, the focus, like with gamification and Learning Commons, totally on the learner. This is where we are going to shift to trends that are more educational in nature, although just like with the library trends, a quick internet search will totally show just how interchangeable they are with the library trends. So the first one we're going to talk about is remote or distance learning. It's an educational tool that allows students who may not necessarily be able to make it to school to still attend virtually. This is something that has been rather popular at the collegiate level, but it's now making its way into secondary schools to allow schools and teachers alike a lot more flexibility. Students can attend class through video as well as access the class materials and content online. It also allows for the incorporation of other technologies such as email, social media. Additionally, it is the foundation of many student-centered learning pushes with the school, since students can basically learn at their own pace. For more information, I turn to the article Beyond Computer Literacy, Technology Integration and Curriculum Transformation. If you're thinking, the authors pointed out that in remote learning there's a focus on the learner and their prior knowledge, like how to use personal computers, cell phones, and social media. That the integration of a blended remote learning curriculum actively engaged and motivated students and provided a deeper learning for the students, you'd be correct. Next up, we have digital textbooks. Now, most of us are familiar with the regular bound textbooks, heavy, hard to use, may not contain the correct information. A lot of us don't even consider the fact that they are probably inaccessible for students with disabilities. Well, according to the article, Increasing Student Access to Content Area Textbooks, digital textbooks may be a better option for us. As with any textbook, the authors do caution that digital textbooks need to actively engage students through rich contextual examples that students can relate to real-world experiences. Unfortunately, nearly 80% of our students with learning disabilities have associated reading problems so considerable they cannot even read and understand grade level material in regular textbooks. So shooting for deeper learning, not even an option. However, with digital textbooks, there are features that will assist these students, such as a dictionary and a thesaurus and text-to-speech, that will allow for a deeper learning that wouldn't have been possible with a regular textbook. Finally, digital textbooks will allow educators to change their instruction to center more around the learner, as these tools will assist these students to work more efficiently with the course materials. So all of these trends have focused primarily on active engagement, deeper learning, and a focus on the learner.